What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm continuing my adventure of beating all the games I can for East 10 drops in English. Said adventure started with me beating Trails in the Sky, and to be completely honest, this probably would have been a video on Sky's second chapter. But like I said before, I don't want to rush through the series and get burnt out. I did finish that game in like a few days, and honestly, I'm not really sure if that's considered normal or not. But anyways, to avoid getting burnt out halfway through the second game, I decided to play something that really hadn't been on my mind for years. Now, just like with Trails, I tried playing this game a while back, like more than a year ago. To be completely honest, I don't remember why I dropped the game. Could have been because I didn't have that much time, or maybe I just dropped it because it wasn't East. Yeah, that's kinda how I was back then. But now that I think about it, maybe dropping games is the move. This is like the fourth time I've come back to a game after around a year and realized I actually really love it. Anyways, I'm actually really excited to talk about this game. There's a bunch of stuff I genuinely enjoyed about it. So, roll that intro and let's get to it. Let's start off with the story. Since I was playing the game after around a year or two, I wasn't exactly going in with any real expectations. All I really knew was that the game was often compared to Persona. At least, that's what I heard. Probably because of the school setting and the courage, wisdom, and virtue thing kinda being like the stats in Persona. Now that I think about it, there's another Falcom game I've heard get compared to Persona that also has a school setting. Whatever, I'm not close to playing that game yet. But moving on. To be honest, I didn't mind the school setting in this game. Like, yeah, I've seen a bunch of games take place in the school, but Tokyo Xanadu just felt different. For one, I actually got invested into the story pretty early on. Usually it takes a good while before I start caring, but that wasn't the case this time. I think one of the reasons I got locked in so early was the fact that you get thrown into the action pretty damn quickly, which is a very nice change of pace. I've said this before, but I usually value fun gameplay way more than story, but in Tokyo Xanadu, the story and gameplay kinda go hand in hand, which is really nice. A genuinely good mix of both gameplay and story is what makes a game good to me. There's been way too many times in other games where I'm vibing out, just straight up enjoying my time, and then all of a sudden I get hit with a wall of exposition dump. And yeah, that happened here too, but way later on into the game. And with them mixing the gameplay and story so well, I didn't even notice that the exposition dump was happening. Because one, they actually built up to it, and two, I was pretty much locked in from the start, so I actually cared about what was being told to me. Usually, when I play RPGs, there's always a certain point into the game where I just stop caring about what's happening. Thankfully, that never happened here. And I think another reason for that is probably due to how much I actually enjoyed the characters. I'm just gonna say this now, I fucking love the art style of this game, man. It's kind of hard to put into words. The art just looks so nice and aesthetically pleasing. I just wish it was easier to find the stuff online, man. Anyways, the characters. To be honest, I liked all of them, but my favorites are probably Shio, cause one, he's just cool as hell, you know? And two, he was basically my best party member. But aside from Shio, I also ended up liking Ko and Asuka a lot. And at first, I couldn't really explain what it was about them that drew me in, aside from their design. But around midway through the game, I started to realize there's not some grand explanation for why I like them. I just do. Ko is just a really good main character. I mean, sure, he looks like some typical anime protag, but that's really not the case. I mean, for one, he fucking talks. He's an actual character. The silent protag thing in RPGs has gotten really old. It's totally fine in East though. Nobody can do it like at all. But aside from that, Ko actually cares about his friends and knows close to him. Whenever someone he knew ended up in the eclipse, he wouldn't hesitate to go after them to help. I mean, he literally said, "But if it's something within my reach, I want to protect it myself." Even at the start of the game, he saw Asuka in trouble and went to help her, when at that point, all he knew about her was her name. And with Asuka herself, I just enjoy her dynamic with Ko. Like I said, there's no real single reason as to why I like them. It's just a feeling, you know? Side note, I really wish this game had an English dub. I'd kill to hear what Asuka would sound like in English. Now, this is something I really want to speak on, the gameplay. I'm probably gonna sound like some kind of crazy person trying to explain my feelings, but just hear me out, alright? The gameplay in Tokyo Xanadu, it's like they combined different aspects from a bunch of games that I enjoy and just mixed them into something amazing. For one, the core gameplay, aka fighting in the eclipse, it's like a perfect hybrid between the East games, specifically the party system games, and surprisingly, Zawi 2 of all games. The thing is though, it's a super specific mix of those style of games. Tokyo Xanadu is nowhere near as fast as an East game, although the perfect dodge in this game feels just like how it does in East 8 and 9. But at the same time, it's not the exact same speed as Zawi 2, it's actually a bit faster. And that Zawi comparison actually goes a bit deeper. For one, Ko's soul device is literally the same thing as Ragnar's anchor gear. I mean, look at this shit, man. That's the same thing, and that's so fucking cool to me. I was deadass kinda hyped the moment I saw Ko summon his soul device. Then I started playing the game, and it just hit me like, damn, this might as well be Zawi 3, or a spiritual successor at the very least.
But wait, there's more!
Well, not that much more, but there's still one more Zawi comparison. So, in-game, when you've got free time in between story sections, you can find free gates around Morimaya. It's basically a mini eclipse, not as difficult or dangerous, but at the end of these free gates, there's this slot machine right before the exit. If your timing is right when you hit it, you can actually get some pretty good stuff. And you know what other game has a slot machine right at the end of a dungeon? Yeah, Zawi 2. And yeah, I know these games are literally made by the same company, but even so, it's nice to notice little things like this. This is probably the last thing I'll talk about, and that's the music. I'll be straight up. The music is fucking wonderful, man. The dungeon music was amazing. The boss themes go crazy. The songs that play when you're just walking around Morimaya are a whole vibe. And don't even get me started on the opening, man. It was so good, it plays at the start of every chapter. They knew that shit was a banger. And not to mention, sometimes while I was playing or when I heard certain songs, I started getting heavy Cyber Sleuth vibes. And yeah, the two games don't exactly have that much in common, aside from taking place in the real world. But like I said before, this kind of stuff is just a feeling, you know? And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. I'm really glad I finally got around to playing this game. I didn't expect to enjoy it this much. Overall, I had fun. I never got bored playing this game. Honestly, I'm pretty surprised. At this point, I'm starting to think Falcom might be the greatest of all time. With this being the third non-East Falcom game I've played, I'm kind of shocked at the fact I've enjoyed my time with all of them. I'm for sure gonna keep up the pace and play some more games. Next up is Sky's second chapter. You can expect a video on that, eventually, I guess. Yeah, I did finish Sky 1 in around a week, but I have no idea how long the next game is going to be, so I'm not going to rush anything. Besides, I'm going to be working on that special video I mentioned all next month. I'm aiming to get that out exactly on May 14th for, well, reasons. When the video drops, it'll make sense. Anyways, that's all for me. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and maybe subscribe. I'm still aiming for 500 this year. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.